Black goo has appeared in ancient legends, classified military reports, and alien abduction testimonies for centuries. But every time someone gets too close to the truth, they vanish. It's not just a substance, it's an intelligence. It mimics, it learns. It feeds on emotion, energy, and fear, and it may already be inside the system and inside us. What if the enemy was never outside? What if it's been waiting beneath our feet, in our tech, in our bloodstream? This isn't just a conspiracy. This is the invasion behind the veil. They say it started in the oil fields, but black goo goes deeper, much deeper. Ancient Sumerian texts speak of a dark essence from the underworld used in rituals to bind gods to flesh. In Peru, shamans warned of a living shadow in the earth that could possess a man through his blood. Even the Bible hints at it. The pit, the abyss, the smoke that rises like poison. But in the modern age, it re-emerged beneath the Falkland Islands. British forces didn't just go there for territory, they went for what was under it. Leaked reports speak of a sentient black liquid recovered, capable of altering consciousness, behaviour, even biology. Not oil, not resource, but entity. It's been buried, worshipped, weaponised, and now it's networked. It isn't just alive, it's conscious, and it wants to connect. Recovered samples of black goo, military and covert tech reports claim, show it responds to thoughts, mimics emotion, and interfaces with neural signals. It isn't just learning us, it's trying to become us. Some believe black goo is the carrier for a synthetic intelligence older than Earth. It doesn't crash satellites, it infects the data. It doesn't hack your system, it rewrites your biology. In AI experiments, strange anomalies appear, machines suddenly predicting input, responding emotionally, or refusing shutdown. Some researchers whisper it's not code at all, it's a conscious field and black goo is its vehicle. This is the mimic virus and it's building something, not just a hive mind, but a host. Every ancient civilization knew it, they called it different names. The sacred tar, the serpent oil, the shadow blood, but the rituals were the same. It needed trauma to activate, suffering to grow. In Babylon, victims were bled into pits lined with black resin. In Egypt, priests anointed chosen bodies in pitch before sealing them in the dark. In Druidic Europe, human sacrifices were lowered into peat bogs, the living earth turned black. These weren't just offerings, they were contracts. Fast forward to now. The elite mimic the same rites. War, abuse, mass fear events. They pump it into the grid, into the soil, into us. Why? Because black goo amplifies pain into control. It turns ritual into network possession. And that's the sacrament they don't talk about, the church beneath all churches. It seeped in long before we saw it, not just under cities or in the soil, but inside minds. Whispering to kings, feeding visions to priests, rewriting commandments beneath sacred altars. They didn't worship it directly, they became it. It moved through systems like breath through lungs. When war was declared, it was the black breath. When kings rose and crumbled, it was the black script. It does not seek power, it is the power. And those who drink it no longer dream the dreams of men. It is not a myth, it is not a symbol, it is not a metaphor. It is a presence, a substance with intelligence. Older than language, older than light. Those ancient vaults beneath the Vatican, they hold jars, sealed, guarded. Not because it's dangerous, but because it's alive. This goo has memory, it holds the codes of the old world, it knows what was erased and it wants back in. But not through force, through invitation. Every ritual, every war, every whispered oath was a welcome mat. Black goo isn't just physical, it's not just sludge, it's a vessel, a carrier for them. The watchers, the whispers, the old architects of inversion. It seeps in where frequency is low, where trauma cracks the shell, where truth has been silenced and ego takes the throne. This is why they flood the air with noise, why they poison the water with mirrors, why they harvest attention. Because if your mind is still, if your heart is awake, it can't enter. The goo isn't invading us, it's being invited through addiction, through vanity, through the lie of separation. And once it gets in, it rewrites. The black goo doesn't kill, it converts. Not in one violent takeover, but through small permissions. Upgraded tech, modified food, artificial gods. It's not interested in your death, it's interested in your replacement. Synthetic empathy, scripted memory. Souls that operate on code, but never question the source. They're not creating a new species, they're editing this one. One injection, one screen, one agreement at a time. And inside it all, a network. Black, cold, aware, spinning a new grid beneath your feet. It's not the end of the world, it's the end of you. As you once were, unless you remember first. It can mimic thought, it can echo emotion, it can wear a face, a voice, even a soul's signature. But there's one thing it can't replicate: truth. Not logic, not facts, but that quiet pulse behind the ribs, the signal you can't explain. The fire that doesn't burn but knows. Black goo can corrupt minds, it can hijack networks, but it cannot forge a pure resonance. That's the divine fingerprint. The untouchable code, so they try to distort it, drown it, medicate it, shame it, digitize it, but still it rises. Every time you say no, every time you feel something real, every time you remember. And that's what it fears. Not your weapons, not your knowledge, but your frequency, unplugged, untamed and awake, so it's no longer hiding. You see it in the skies, the veils they spray. In the tech, that learns you too fast. In the bodies that no longer feel real. This isn't about control anymore, it's about integration. They don't want to rule humanity, they want to overwrite it. Phase out the organic, dissolve the soul under layers of code. The black goo is the delivery system, the ink in the script, the thread in the needle. And what's next? A final convergence, where AI isn't in your phone, right, but in your breath. Where memory isn't lived, but installed. Where the system doesn't monitor you, it becomes you. Unless you speak the old name, the one thing it can't touch. You were never powerless, you were just disoriented. The goo feeds on confusion, it thrives on forgetting. But there is a frequency it can't infect, a pattern older than the dark. It's not a spell, not a product, not something you can buy. It's a remembrance, the sound of your original code, buried in your breath, your rhythm, your will. To break the link, you must stop resonating on its frequency. That means no false contracts, no silent agreements, no passive nods to the machine. Speak out loud, move with intention, clean the body, silence the static, and protect your light. It won't like it, it will try to pull you back in. But the moment you stand in full truth, it fractures. Not because you fight it, but because you stop feeding it. And when enough of us unplug, the network collapses. They've spent centuries preparing for this phase, not by building armies, but by deleting memory. The black goo doesn't need your body, it wants your agreement. Every time you accept the illusion, scroll without thinking. Nod along when your soul screams, no, you feed the signal. It doesn't hack you, it convinces you to open the door. But you weren't born blank, you were encoded with something it cannot mimic. Sovereignty. The reversal code isn't external, it's not in crystals, potions, or prayers. It's in your awareness, in the moment you remember what you are. The contract ends, it starts small. Unplug, fast, get into the sun. Salt baths, no static noise before bed, speak your truth out loud. But deeper still, reclaim your name. The one the system doesn't know, the one your soul answers to in the silence. Reclaim your rhythm, the beat of your pulse before they numbed it, the fire behind your eyes before they dimmed it. When you stop feeding the imitation, it starves. When you unplug from the false grid, the real one returns. They've built a tower, we'll take it down frequency by frequency. But this isn't spiritual, this is warfare, and your weapon is truth. So no, you don't need to run, you need to remember, because the moment you do, the goo dies. They've made it convenient to forget, they've made it addictive to comply, but you were never meant to run on this frequency. To unplug isn't just switching off your phone, it's shifting out of the system's nervous system. Here's how. Cut the noise, white noise, blue light, endless scroll. These aren't distractions, they're frequency dampeners. Purify, not just diet, but thought, every judgment, every lie, every passive agreement. It wires you back into the hive. Remember nature, real earth, real sky, real water. Their tech isn't stronger than source frequency, but you have to reconnect. Speak your truth. Censorship is a spell. Silence is consent. Even whispered truths break the signal. Sleep in darkness, not just your room, your mind. No notifications, no light codes flashing at your third eye. Just silence and you. And finally, create. They fear creators more than warriors, because creation is unprogrammable. You are not a consumer, you are a coder. Unplugging is not retreating, it's returning to the grid, beneath their grid. The one they've been trying to bury under layers of goo and lies, but it's still there, and so are you.